Hi guys, we're going to talk about quadratics. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think? Does he make this shot? Dun dun dun. You'll find out soon enough. At the end of this lesson, we will talk about whether or not he does. Ooh, mystery to be solved. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about identifying key features of parabolas. Remember, a parabola is just the graph of a quadratic equation. And we're going to use quadratics to solve real-world problems and make predictions using regression technology. And we're going to show our knowledge, or at least do a checkpoint of how we're doing on a little, what they call lesson quiz on Math Excel. So let's remind ourselves a little bit about some different terminology. Y-intercept, remember, that's just where it crosses, your graph crosses the y-axis. And in this case, that's at 0, -5. Vertex is going to be at either the highest or lowest point, the max or min, and it's actually the turning point of the graph. And in this case, it's at 3, -1. If the parabola was facing down, open down, then we would say that that was the maximum, and that vertex would be at -6, 1. Axis of symmetry is just the line that cuts the parabola in half, exactly, a mirror image on both sides of that line. And all the parabolas that we've talked about in our class mostly have been facing up and down. And so their axis of symmetry is also going to be facing up and down. It's vertical line. And so it's going to be an equation that's going to be x equals a number. If it were sideways, then the equation would be y equals a number. And in this case, x equals -2. X-intercepts, those are called zeros or roots as well, and that's where the parabola crosses the x-axis. In this case, it's 1, 0, and 3, 0. All right, went through that kind of fast. Now we're going to talk about how to come up with the equation if we're given some data or some points. And in this case, this is where the real world stuff comes in. I showed you a basketball player at the beginning trying to make a shot. And now we're going to talk about a rocket. If it's shot off from a launcher, the accompanying table represents the heights of a rocket at given times. X is time in seconds, Y is height in feet. Write the quadratic regression equation, which just means the parabola that fits the data the best, rounding all coefficients to the nearest tenth. Using this equation, find the height to the nearest foot at a time of, I cut off how many seconds right there. So we're not going to worry about that right now because my goal is that we come up with the equation first. Now you've got some options. You can use Desmos or you can use the TI-84 calculator app. Either way, you're going to have to put the points in first. So whether you use the TI-84, this is the goal where you know what A, B, and C are, okay? If you use TI-84 app, you're going to have to type in the list and then get to the quadratic regression function. If you use Desmos, you type in the list, and then you're going to use the quadratic regression function. They just look a little bit differently, but either way, they're going to give you the same information if you type in the points correctly. So in this case, -14.4, they tell me is A, and that's what goes in here for A. 138.1 would go in for B, and 4.3 would go in for C. So this right here is the actual answer to the question as far as what is the quadratic regression equation. This is the equation we're looking for. Now, you'll notice on the TI-84, it doesn't give me this exact thing, right? It gives me the general equation that tells me what A, B, and C are. On Desmos, it's the same idea. They give me the general equation, and then they tell me what A, B, and C are. You will then have to use your brain and say, oh, that means A is -14.4. So 14.4x squared, okay? Now let me show you how to do this. So if we start with Desmos, the first thing you're going to have to do is hit add an item. And that's how we're going to add the table of points. Add an item and then use table. Okay? So we put the plus button and then table. And then you type in your table of points. Now I have it written down so that I could see it while I was talking to you. And I'm typing in the X values, or in this case, it was about time. And then I'm going to type in the Y values. And in this case, it was about the height of the rocket launched. Different times. So at 3.3 seconds, that rocket was 304 feet up. Now, the next thing you'll have to do is you'll have to actually type in the quadratic regression equation. And in the Desmos app, what that looks like is you'll go down here in the next line and you'll type in y, and if you just type the number 1 next to it, it automatically knows that you mean y1. Then you're going to have to type this little squiggle symbol, and that squiggle symbol is right above the tab button next to the number 1. You have to hit shift and then that button, the tilde. That's the fastest way to do it. And then you're going to type in a x1 squared, and I like to use the shift 6 button to get up an exponent. I have to arrow to the right, plus b x1 plus c. Now remember, the reason I did x1 is because this up here is x1. The reason I did y1 is because this is y1. And I want this equation to connect to this. And you saw as soon as I typed it, it did connect. And it immediately tells me what A, B, and C are. Super fast. Okay? Now, Desmos is awesome, and it's available on state tests, but it is not available on the ACT. So ACT, you can use the TI-84, which is what we're going to talk about next. Now, the TI-84 takes a little bit more steps, okay, but it's totally doable. So on the screen, I tell you the point, and then I tell you all the buttons to push and everything. It says enter the list of data. You're going to hit the stat button, which is over here on the right, and then you're going to hit, you're going to choose the one edit, and then enter. Then you're going to type in your list. So let me show you what I mean by that so far. Okay. So first, I'm going to hit the stat button, and then see how it pops up and it says edit. So then I hit enter. And then I'm going to type in my list. And you have to use these buttons over here. Remember, you can't just touch on the screen here. You have to use these buttons over here. And if you want to clear the list, like let's say this list wasn't what you wanted, if it's just one number, you can hit clear, enter, and it'll clear out that one number, or delete, and it'll delete that one number. But if you want to clear the whole list, you arrow up to the top. You see how I did that? Arrow down, this little black part goes down, arrow up, it goes to there. Do not hit delete up here. It will cause you problems. You can hit clear, enter, and it'll clear your list. But do not hit delete. It will cause way too many problems. It will drive you nuts. So let me type those in again. 81, enter, 140, enter, 188, enter, 232, 269, 304. Enter. So now I have my list in here, okay? Now the next thing you'll need to do is you'll have to hit the stat button again. And then you're going to arrow to the right until it's the calc menu that looks like this. And then you're going to arrow down until you get to the 5 quadratic regression. Then you'll hit enter a few times. And let me show you what I mean. Stat. Now you go over here, arrow over to calc. Then I want quadratic regression. So down here to number 5, and then hit enter. And then yes, I wanted to do the X I put in list 1, the Y's I put in list 2. So yes, that's right. Then hit enter until it does what I want several times. Bada bing, bada boom. There's the answers. Okay. So neither of these are that hard. You don't have to do both. You just have to decide which one you want to use. Okay. So that's the idea there. Now, when you're ready, then you're going to go into you're going to do Delta Math number 7, which is about graphs, features, and regressions, and it helps you get ready for Quiz 2.2. Then you're going to take Quiz 2.2 inside Math Excel, okay? And so again, reminder, Delta Math, that's where the assignment is for the week. And then inside Math Excel, ooh, I'm going crazy there. Is that it? No, I don't think I have it open right now. That's okay. Inside Math Excel is where you'll find that lesson quiz 2.2, and I can help you remember where that is, okay? There you go. We're almost done. This is the second to last week of the quarter. These will be the last few assignments, and then it'll be great. We can do this, okay? All right, you got this. You got this. You got this. I almost forgot. I promised to show you if he actually makes it or not. What do you guys think? You think he makes it? All right, let's go back to that question. Rewind, rewind, rewind. Here we go. Let's see. On that one, he did make it. Hope your prediction was right.